Hello and welcome. This is Awesome Will here, and I was just sliding by, so I decided that I'd slide on in and drop another video for you. How love affects the brain. The neuroscience behind falling in love. What I'm going to be discussing is love and the brain, how love affects the brain, neuroscience of love, dopamine in love, brain chemicals in love, effects of love on mental health, and also why we fall in love. There are also many musicians, such as artists or great composers, such as Beethoven. He himself even had to find an outlet or a way to better express what he was feeling. Beethoven didn't compose specific songs explicitly about love with lyrics, as many composers did later, but his music is filled with deep emotions, including themes of love, passion, and longing. Here are some Beethoven compositions that are often associated with the theme of love. Fleur or Fur Elise. While not explicitly about love, this piece is famously thought to be inspired by one of Beethoven's romantic interests, possibly a woman named Elise, or someone he admired. Its delicate and expressive melody has made it a romantic favorite. Another composition of his, Moonlight Sonata, often seen as one of Beethoven's most romantic pieces. The first movement is especially haunting and full of longing, which has led to its association with themes of love and melancholy. Melancholy. To those of you that doesn't know or unaware of what melancholy is a feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause. Having a feeling of melancholy, sad and pensive, that's the adjective form. And to name a couple of other songs that he composed to express what he deeply felt during that time or that moment. Adelaide, this song, Beethoven's OP 46, is a setting of a love poem and is directly about romantic longing. It expresses the speaker's deep, unrequited love and is one of the few vocal pieces Beethoven wrote on the topic of love. Another one that he composed, And die Fime Geliebt, to distant beloved. This is a song cycle about a lover separated from their beloved, filled with themes of longing, connection, and hope. It's considered one of the first true song cycles and reflects Beethoven's personal feelings about love and separation. Symphony number 6, Pastoral Symphony. While not about love in a traditional sense, this symphony conveys Beethoven's love for nature and the peace and happiness he felt in the countryside. The serene, joyful quality of the symphony can also be interpreted as a love for life. Okay? Now, what I like to do is I like to better describe what love means based on an article from the Harvard Medical School, Love in the Brain. Rewarding ourselves with love. In 2005, Fisher led a research team that published a groundbreaking study that included the first functional MRI, images of the brains of individuals in the throes of romantic love. Her team analyzed 2,500 brain scans of college students who viewed pictures of someone special to them and compared the scans to ones taken taken when the students looked at pictures of acquaintances. Photos of people they romantically loved caused the participants' brains to become active in regions rich with the dopamine, the so called feel good neurotransmitter. Two of the brain regions that showed activity in the fMRI scans were the caudate nucleus, a region associated with reward detection and expectation and the integration of sensory experiences into social behavior, and the ventral tegmental area, which is associated with pleasure, focus, attention, and the motivation to pursue and acquire rewards. The ventral tegmental area is part of what is known as the brain's reward circuit, which coincidentally was discovered by Old's father, James, when she was 7 years old. This circuit is considered to be a primitive neutral network, meaning it is evolutionarily old. It links with the nucleus accumbens. Some of the other structures that contribute to the reward circuit, the amygdala, the amygdala, the hippocampus or campus, and the prefrontal cortex are exceptionally sensitive to and reinforcing of behavior that induces pleasure, such as sex, food consumption, and drug use. We know that primitive areas of the brain are involved in romantic love, said Oates, an HMS associate professor of psychiatry at Boston's Massachusetts General Hospital, and that these areas light up on brain scans when talking about a loved one. These areas can stay lit up for a long time, for some couples. School. Researchers are revealing more about how the brain and nervous system work and translating those insights into new treatments. When we are falling in love, chemicals associated with the brain reward circuit flood our brain, producing a variety of physical and emotional responses: racing hearts, sweaty palms, flushed cheeks, feelings of passion and anxiety. Levels of the stress hormone cortisol increase during the initial phase of romantic love, marshaling our bodies to cope with the crisis at hand. As cortisol levels rise, levels of the neurotransmitter serotonin become depleted. Low levels of serotonin participate what Shorts described as the intrusive, maddeningly preoccupying thoughts, hopes, terrors of early love, the obsessive compulsive behaviors associated with infatuation. Being love struck also releases high levels of dopamine, a chemical that gets the reward system going, said Oles. Dopamine activates the reward circuit, helping to make love a pleasurable experience similar to the euphoria associated with use of cocaine or alcohol. Scientific evidence for this similarity can be found in many studies, including one conducted at the University of California, San Francisco, and published in 2012 in Science. That study reported that male fruit flies, now this is interesting, that study reported that male fruit flies that were sexually rejected drank 4 times as much alcohol as fruit flies that mated with female fruit flies. Same reward center, said Schwartz. Different way to get there. Other chemicals at work during romantic love are oxytocin and vasopressin, hormones that have roles in pregnancy, nursing, and mother infant attachment, released during sex and heightened by skin to skin contact. Oxytocin deepens feelings of attachment and makes couples feel closer to one another after having sex. Oxytocin, known as, or also known as, the love hormone, provokes feelings of contentment, calmness, and security, which are often associated with mate bonding. Vasopressin is linked to behavior that produces long-term, monogamous relationships. The differences in behavior associated with the actions of the two hormones may explain why passionate love fades as attachment grows. In addition to the positive feelings romance brings, love also deactivates the neural pathway responsible for negative emotions such as fear and social judgment. These positive and negative feelings involve two neurological pathways. The one linked with positive emotions connects the prefrontal cortex to the nucleus accumbens, while the other, which is linked with negative emotions, connects to nucleus accumbens to the amygdala or amygdala, amygdala, amygdala. When we are engaged in romantic love, the neural machinery responsible for making critical assessments of other people, including assessments of those with whom we are romantically involved, shuts down. That's the neural basis for the ancient wisdom. Love is blind, said Schwartz. When we are falling in love, chemicals associated with the reward circuit flood our brain, producing a variety of physical and emotional responses. Racing hearts, as I mentioned, sweaty palms, flushed cheeks, feelings of passion and anxiety. Lasting love. If love lasts, this roller coaster of emotions and sometimes angst calms within 1 or 2 years, said Schwartz. The passion is still there, but the stress of it is gone. He added, cortisol and serotonin levels return to normal. Love, which began as a stressor to our brains and bodies, at least, becomes a buffer against stress. Brain areas associated with reward and pleasure are still activated as loving relationships proceed, but the constant craving and desire that are inherent in romantic love often lessen. Many theories of love, said Schwartz, and Oles propose that there is an inevitable change over time from passionate love to what is typically called compassionate love. Love that is deep, but not as euphoric as that experienced during the early stages of romance. That does not, however, mean that the spark of romance is quenched for long, married couples. A 2011 study conducted at Stony Brook University in New York State found that it is possible to be madly in love with someone after decades of marriage. The research team, which included Fisher, performed MRI scans on couples who had been married an average of 21 years. They found the same intensity of activity in dopamine rich areas of the brains as found in the brains of couples who were newly in love. The study suggested that the excitement of romance can remain while the apprehension is lost. A state of the art investigation of love has confirmed for the very first time that people are not lying when they say that after 10 to 30 years of marriage, they are still madly in love with their partners, said Schwartz. In the Stony Brook study, he added, the MRI scans showed that the pattern of activity in the participants' dopamine reward systems was the same as the detected as that detected in the brains of participants in early stage romantic love. For those whose long term marriage has transitioned from passionate romantic love to a more compassionate, routine type love, Olds indicating it is possible to rekindle the flame that characterized the relationship's early days. We call it the rustiness phenomenon, she said. Couples get out of the habit of sex, of being incredibly in love, and often for good reasons. Work, children, a sick parent, but that type of love can be reignited. Sexual activity, for example, can increase oxytocin levels and activate the brain's reward circuit, making couples desire each other more. That alone, she said, may be enough to bring some couples back to those earlier, exhilarating days when all they could think about was their newfound love. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Have you been there? Are you currently there? Are you separated, but you still have this strong sense of love for this person, etc.? Comment below, because I know that I've definitely been there. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to say it either. I've definitely been there, you know? And there's been women that has also been madly in love with me. Although I was a mean son of a gun, you know what I mean? And can still be mean, you know? And, when I wasn't as mature as I am now, as of now, I had a tendency of saying some of the most meanest things that a eardrum or a set of ears could ever hear out of anger to that woman. And they become even more infatuated with me, being a mean bastard. You know what I'm saying? Super mean. You know what I mean? Stubborn as a bull. You know, that's me. Or that's who I used to be. But I can still be mean. You know what I mean? And it's not intentional. But that's just to enlighten you briefly on some of my experiences with love. You know, they say that it's blind, but is it? Is it truly blind? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. This is Awesome Will here, and just as I was sliding by and decided that I'd slide on in and drop another video on you, I am now about to slide on out and continue about. Catch you on the next one.